This is a fairly rare book based on the Survey of English Dialects, but it wasn't published until 1987. Peter Anderson was quite a senior figure in the Yorkshire Dialect Society. Apparently, he gave up linguistics and went to become a taxman instead. I don't know if he's even still alive or not, but I thought as I have a rare copy of this book, I'd share it with YouTube. Now, by the time this came out, there'd been quite a lot of criticism of the Survey of English Dialects. You can see he had a bit of a go at the critics here. He was very keen to defend the survey, claiming that you can see structural linguistics, you can see phonemic realities, as he says. One thing here is he doesn't really say who he's criticising. I'm fairly sure, though, he's talking about John Wells, who, in a review of the Linguistic Atlas of England, said he was ashamed of England for the work, which was a bit harsh. You can see in this work, he also makes comparisons with the work of Alexander John Ellis. There are only a few maps like that, but it's a good idea from him to see how things change, given that it was in the late 19th century, I think around the 1870s and 1880s, when Ellis's data were collected. So if we go through, you can see each map goes from Middle English. Now, one thing that's different from, say, the Linguistic Atlas of England is rather than just go for one word, he groups words together and looks at the percentage that show a certain pronunciation. Now, I can see why he did this, because the thing is that it's not very often you just go over a line, it suddenly goes from 100% of one pronunciation to 100% of another pronunciation. Usually you get a bit of a buffer zone where there's a bit of a mixture between two variants. Now, what we have here is perhaps one of the best known features of an English dialect, whether you have a word lengthening, lengthening the sort of ah or r sound, and you can see it's mostly in the south east of England and in East Anglia. Also, a few bits in the sort of, well, south of Birmingham, it seems. I think that's somewhere like Worcestershire or Warwickshire, and also a bit in South Wales, since the survey did actually go into a bit of South Wales, including, bizarrely enough, the city of Newport. Another well-known feature here, whether the letter R is maintained. Now, the way I speak, I have a non-rhotic accent, so I actually find it quite difficult to imitate a rhotic one, but rather than the thing you drive in being a car, more like a car. So as you can see, very much in the West Country, and also just going almost all along the south coast, and also going up, right the way up through, Herefordshire, Warwickshire, and into Shropshire. And then also a big cluster in Lancashire, which still persists today, and in the far north. And there's just dots here and there, and it is true, I have very occasionally come across rhotic speakers in Yorkshire, but they're not very common anymore, and apparently in Lincolnshire and in Norfolk as well. And if we move on, it's like that for various maps throughout. There's all this commentary as well, trying to draw conclusions of the analysis of the different developments geographically. I think this book is neglected. It probably came out too late, and people just lost interest in the survey by then. But I feel there's a scope maybe to start citing it on Wikipedia and get people interested again. I've just happened to go here on another well-known aspect of English dialects, as in whether you have a contrast between, say, the words cut and put. I do not, but I believe people in the south of England have a contrast, so it's a bit like cat and put. So you can see that it's a broadly north-south picture, although the cat pronunciation does go right the way up into Shropshire. I mean, Shropshire, even though it's relatively north, is really like a West Country dialect for most purposes. You can see as well here that you do get a bit of a grey area where, you know, they say cut for some and cat for others around Northamptonshire and around Peterborough by the looks of it. Also right in the far north, that's because in Scotland the contrast comes back, and once you get very far north they start to sound a bit more Scottish. And also in the Isle of Man, I mean, that's an anomaly. I mean, they spoke Manx until fairly recently. Well, there you go. Any questions, do let me know.